Morning, everyone. How are you doing today? Good to see you here. My name is Angela Willis, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies for today. Before we start, I would like to kindly ask you to turn off or silence your mobile devices during the event. And in the event of an emergency, we ask you to stay calm and obey the protocol by exiting this room to the nearest meeting point. If you have a pet with you, please keep it on a leash and next to you. The event will be recorded by our IT team, and our audiovisual team will be taking photos and videos during this event. With this said, we are ready to get started. Dear UP students, members of the platform party, faculty, staff, and honorable guests, to all of you who have joined this celebration today, we would like to give you a special thank you. At this moment, we're waiting for the rector, so I would like to ask that you be patient until he comes in so we can present the platform party. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the rector, Rector Rojas. So with this, we will ask you to please stand up and welcome the platform party and UP's faculty members. Thank you. You may be seated. So I would like to introduce the members of the platform party. Rector Francisco Rojas, Olivia Sylvester, Head of the Department of Environment and Development, and Ana Gloria Guzman Mora, who is the honorable guest and keynote speaker for today. She's the Executive Director of Conservation International Costa Rica. Among our faculty members present here today, we have Olivia Sylvester, who is the head of the Department of Environment and Development. We have Jan Breitlin, coordinator of the NRSD program. Clara Ramin, coordinator of the Ramsed and DSD program within this department. We have Usma Rashid, who is the head of the Department of Peace and Conflict Studies and coordinator for the Gender and Peace Building and Religion, Peace and Culture Studies coordinator. And we also have Stephanie Knox, who is the coordinator of the Peace Education program. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's receive the University for Peace Rector, Dr. Francisco Rojas Aravena.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the University for Peace. This is a special day with your finish of your studies after 1 year here at the university. I'm prepared to return, hopefully with a lot of nostalgia, to the American University. For more than 4 decades, the United Nations University for Peace has training leaders for peace. We promote education with the basis on culture of peace, and today we have more than 7,000 graduates. They work in more than 100 countries in the construction of the dialogue, transformation conflict, protect the planet, promoting harmony and peace process. Well, you will be part of this new graduates. The United Nations University for Peace, joined with the American University, we have the core values of culture of peace and nonviolence, tolerance, dialogue, environmental protection, respect of international law, and the well-being for the humanity. We promote solidarity, compassion, harmony, cooperation, transparency, inclusion, equity, prevention, multilateralism, protection of the most vulnerable, and all the human rights. We promote peaceful coexistence. As you know, the University for Peace is a global entity. Today, in the area of environmental, we move from Beijing with our doctoral program in leadership and sustainable development, to Somalia in their programs in environmental, and also here at the UPs with the leadership of Olivia, Jan, and other colleagues in the Department of Environment. You study natural resources and sustainable development. We are sure you have a good knowledge about food security, water security, and all different things. And we look the SDGs, probably in any of SDGs you have view or have new knowledge. For example, refer Objective 7 is the access of energy, sustainable, security, modern for all, or the SDG 1 referred to put the end of the poverty, and SDG 2 referred to put end the hungry, or more specifically refer to 13 is the adaptation and combat the climate change and their effect, or 14, conservation in the sea. You have probably a very good year in Costa Rica, maybe better than a lot of Costa Rican, and probably the majority of the students of the UPs, because you had the great opportunity to have one of the most important field trips to the south of Costa Rica. That is a magic place in this country, a wonderful nature, and it's possible to take contact with the people who live there and know one of the most important things of the national park in their part of Costa Rica. Dear guests, esteemed graduates, a few weeks ago, I presented the report of the University for Peace of the Secretary General of United Nations to the General Assembly of United Nations. Every 3 years, the Secretary General presents the report of the university. There we point out the promotion of peace became fundamental objective in the new cycle of international system. This is strongly indicated in the Declaration on Pact of the Future, approved by the United Nations General Assembly in September. Also in the Pact of the Future has important emphasis refer to the climate change. The global order is being replaced by force of arms and war. The war is out of control. We must recognize the peace is weak. The international system is changing rapidly. The new global and regional challenge and threat are emerging, which you have to study. No single actor can solve them. All of these threats demand global cooperation, also political will to associate to face them. The only option is to agree on rules and agreements in the multilateral system. The interconnected and interrelated global system show crises that are perpetuate and demand prevention. Achievement, stability, harmony, and secure society is what is established in the SDG 16, the Agenda 2030, for also in the Pact of the Future. You saw these all SDGs, and you have new knowledge to refer that. In your studies, you have incorporated multiple new tools. They have shared experience from different perspectives. You talk with colleagues from different parts of the world and share visions in different views. Congratulations on your efforts and achievement. Let me excuse. Congratulations on your efforts and achievement. You are mentors on a new course of professionals who will contribute to the development with stability, harmony, and sustainability in your countries and in the planet. Dear graduates, all of you have great efforts to have culminated this with great success. Each of one of you had made the support of your loved one, your companies, your mentors, your teachers, express your thanks and appreciation to them. As a new generation of University for Peace, you have the responsibility to bring knowledge through mentoring, innovation, application of new knowledge, and the better planet of the humanity of full harmony. Put a great effort in your last year in America for receive your graduates with a very high level, but more important than that is, you know, if we want peace, we have to work for peace. Because, you know, the ignorance is enemy of peace. Education is creating peace. You have important responsibility. Thank you very much. Peace, paz, salam, salam. Thank you.
Thank you, Rector Rojas. Now, representing the NRSD students, we have London Weir with a farewell speech. Please welcome London.
By the time you guys get back, you'll be eating off of each other's plates. In our first semester of this program, Judy told us that. She told us about the bonds we would form, the incredible people we would meet at UPeace, and that we couldn't imagine the scale of the adventure that was about to unfold before us. she was right. I remember, as I'm sure you all do, the trip we took down to Osa and La Amistad last semester for Jan's course. At that point, we started to create pretty amazing memories together. But I believe it was this trip that taught us how to learn from each other, how to see each other not just as peers and friends, but as role models and sources of inspiration. I don't know about you all, but I really needed these kinds of relationships. We've chosen to do a thing that is hard. Not only do we spend our days learning about the endless list of problems the world is facing, from inequities and environmental degradation to climate change and humanitarian crises, but we chose to do so away from home and away from the people we love. We all took a leap of faith and traveled to a new place with strangers because some part of us knew that it was worth it. I have found that worth in the incredible lessons learned, both within the classroom and outside of it, but especially so in the hearts of you all that have surrounded me on this journey. From Chris, I learned how important it is to speak out for what you believe in, even when it's really hard and uncomfortable to do so. In Amanda, I was reminded that in taking care of yourself, you can better take care of and share love with others. From Sarah, I saw how the strength required to overcome life's challenges doesn't have to harden someone, but instead can make them all the kinder and warmer for it. In Kim, I saw an example of confidence and assurance in one's own goals that never outshine an ability to lift up and support others. In Holly, I learned value in letting go of control and embracing the unexpected along the way. From Parker, I was reminded that time is less important in building relationships than a willingness and openness to share with and respect each other. And finally, in Haiti, I learned how important it is to love and appreciate where you come from just as much as you are excited about where you are going. And now that brings me to the place we're all going. Our journey through this experience isn't quite over yet. But as we head back into familiar territory, let us all remember the value in stepping into what is uncomfortable and hard and scary. In Donna Haraway's Staying with the Trouble, she writes that staying with the trouble means making odd kin. That is, we require each other in unexpected collaborations and combinations in hot compost piles. We become with each other or not at all. On the path of the challenging, the frightening, and the heavy, I am so deeply comforted knowing it's not a journey any one of us take alone. I hope as we move forward in all of our own adventures that we remember how valuable it is to have these bonds and that we can remember to lean on each other when we need it. So, to staying with the trouble, to hot compost piles, and to all of us, thank you.
Thank you, London, for this very touchy speech. On this date, we are honored to welcome Ms. Ana Gloria Guzman Mora, who is the Executive Director of National Costa Rica. So for this, I will kindly ask the coordinator of the NRSD program, Jan Breitlin, to step up to present Ms. Guzman.
Morning, everyone. You guys feeling all right? So it's my pleasure to introduce Ana Gloria Guzman Mora, who's our keynote speaker for today. Ana Gloria is a biologist, expert in marine conservation, fisheries management, and project development. She earned her undergrad and graduate degrees in biology from the University of Costa Rica, Universidad de Costa Rica, or UCR. Ana built her career as a scientist and conservationist, working directly with local communities engaging in governance structures, and developing initiatives to improve protection and management of marine resources. Her Master of Science work on small-scale coastal fisheries in Costa Rica was completed in 2011, while already holding the position as Marine Program Coordinator in Conservation International Costa Rica. In her almost 16 years in Conservation International, Ana has held global positions as Seascape Manager and Senior Manager for Sustainable Fisheries in Marine Protected Areas in Conservation International Center for Oceans. Since 2020, she's the Executive Director of Conservation International in Costa Rica, where she leads the implementation of sustainable fisheries and aquaculture initiatives, blue carbon and mangrove ecosystem restoration and conservation, and innovative initiatives to bring new tools and sectors that can improve natural resources health and local communities' well-being. Ana has extensive experience working with government institutions and regional, national, and local agencies, applying and supporting effective management, conservation, and protection for biodiversity and ecosystems while promoting sustainable blue economy initiatives. Ana also serves in several national governance structures like the Scientific Council of Costa Rica's National Fisheries Authority, INCOPESCA, National Wetlands Commission, and the Cocos Marine Conservation Areas Regional Council, and presides and is member of the National Conservation Trust Funds, Debt Swap for Nature Trust, National Biodiversity Fund, and the OSA Fund. Please give a warm welcome to Ana Gloria.
First of all, welcome and congratulations. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for you having me here, sharing this special moment that I know is a closing of a chapter, but I know it's also the beginning of a journey. For the past weeks since Jan invited me, I've been thinking what to talk to you about and how to share a little bit of the experience. And I remember one question that I was asked just recently after I was giving a presentation for young women leaders that are training on climate advocacy. And I feel I want to share that question with you, not only my answer, but also how I got to that answer. They asked me, what are the 3 things that I would advise this group that is aspiring to get to future government positions and decision-making leaders to remember when they get to those roles? It was a hard question. But I want to share what I told them through my own journey. And I think London actually touched on some of those. One is be humble. Remember where you're coming from. Remember your roots. Remember where you lived and what you've done in every step of the road that you've taken. I'm the youngest of 4 sisters. And my mom and her sisters, 4 out of 14, in the 1930s, 40s, were the only ones in their family that were able to get a degree. And I'm born in a family with extreme poverty and the realities on that era. I really appreciate how my grandmother was able to face the challenges of that generation and be sure that the women of her family, her daughters, were the ones that were educated and be sure to graduate. So thanks to that, I have 2 teachers, my two aunts. One of my aunts also became one of the first gynecologists in Costa Rica, and my mom, who was graduated as a nurse. Those things always keep me rooted thinking of those challenges, rooted knowing where I'm coming from, understanding that we all have a history that is allowing us to grow and help us build. My grandmother's vision, and of course my mom afterwards, is the one that opened the doors for my sisters, my cousins, and me to think big, to have the opportunities to believe that we could grow to be whoever we wanted. The second advice I gave was to listen. Listen with open ears. Listen with open hearts. Listen with open minds. Do not think that you know anything until you listen to someone else. Talk to others with your views, with different views. You need to know that what you need comes from others, and you have to learn what the other thinks and believe to learn. As Jan said, I am a marine biologist. I was trained to study fish, and I was doing underwater surveys and counting fish. It was beautiful. Don't judge me. I loved it. I was underwater all the time, and I was able to amaze of the wonders of the ocean. But I was missing something. I was missing that connection with people. And so I listened to myself first and decided that I needed to go through that route and understand which opportunities I could take. So I decided to start working on fisheries and learning about fisheries and how to integrate my knowledge on fish and ecology to that. A lot of people in that world came to me and say, but you're a woman. What are you doing? Fisheries is a man's world. Don't do it. But I was a little bit stubborn, and of course, I had my grandmother's and mother's advice on facing the challenges. So I decided, of course, I was gonna continue. In this field of men, and that all fishers or most fishers were men, I was also told that, of course, they were not going to trust me. I was a young woman from the city going to the coast to talk about a topic that I have never done myself before, which was, of course, true. But I did it anyway. I went to Golfo Dulce, and now I learned that you were to OSA, so I know you were really close to Golfo Dulce, which is one of the most amazing areas in the world. And I started my work, but what I knew was the theory. I knew basic things. I knew what I was taught in classes and classrooms and from my teachers. But now I needed to start learning from the experience. I was with the fishers from dawn to dusk. I was with them all day, measuring fish and weighing fish. And as I always share, I smell like a fish because I was there all the time. But I shared meals with them. I listened to them. I listened to their realities, their challenges, their knowledge about the fisheries, their experiences. So I was actually learning from them of how that world was. And because I listened, I was also welcomed. They opened their doors to me. They opened their families to me. I was able to disappear all the labels that were put to me beforehand. I was able also to meet Lisette, which was one of the few fisher women in those communities. And from her, I also learned how tough it was and how she had to be kind and tough at the same time to be in that world and to fight in a man's world. So that part of my journey, besides teaching me to listen, taught me how do I become a bridge? How do I become from the one that have knowledge from the university and have these tools to bring the communities, bring their experience, and to be listened up. And the most important thing that I learned from that was that fisheries, it was not about the fish, it was about the livelihoods and how we wanted to move forward and make the difference and change and working in conservation. We have to also think on food security and be sure that there's no hunger so that they can actually be our partners in conservation. And lastly, the third advice I gave is work in collaboration, work in teams. You don't have to be the expert in everything. You can specialize, of course, and your journeys are gonna allow you to do that. But remember these partnerships, as you really beautifully mentioned the qualities of your peers now. I think use that, remember that, how every one of the persons that you're gonna work with has a different experience, have a different point of view. And those expertises, those backgrounds, the knowledge that you will need for decisions comes from different people, from different teams, so collaborate. As an executive director of a conservation organization, I make sure that my team comes from different backgrounds because I need to have different points of view. I have different experiences and different voices speaking to drive change. I also make my best to partner with others, to partner with the usual suspects, other organizations, but also with other sectors, other entities that are not necessarily has the same path on conservation, but that actually complement what we want to achieve. How do we pursue these shared goals? The global challenges that we're facing, and you all know them by heart now. Challenges with conflicts, with climate change, with biodiversity, with oceans sometimes leave us a little bit hopeless. But if we work in collaboration, if we make sure that we join forces to ensure that we are able to solve these major global issues, we can do everything because we are working together. Each of us alone cannot do it all. Each of our countries alone cannot do it all alone. But we can drive change together if we're working together. So with these three advices, I leave you hoping that now that you embark in these new adventures and journeys, that you work towards that better world we all want, that you count with everyone that you met in this journey, that you count with all the ones that you just met, and you remember where you're coming from and all these experiences, because we all want this world, this equitable, just, food secure, peaceful, healthy earth that that's why we are here. So collaborate, listen, and be humble. So thank you for letting me share a little bit of my journey on how I got there.
Thank you, Ms. Guzman, for those inspiring words. And we have reached the moment that everyone has been waiting for. So before we start, I would like to just say a few words. Every year, our students discover new challenges and take away rewarding learning and life experiences. A considerable number of students have gotten through different obstacles and trials to reach here today. And this is the case of the Natural Resources and Sustainable Development Cohort 2024. This is a dual program which is offered in partnership with American University in Washington, D.C. Students who are part of this program travel to Costa Rica to attend classes at UPs within a period of 12 months, starting in January until December. At the end of this period, at the end of this dual program, students will obtain a master's in international relations at American University and a second degree in natural resources and sustainable development with UPs. Today, our NRSD students are closing a phase here at UPs and will continue on with the remaining courses and final graduation project at American University, which will in due course award them a master's degree. We truly acknowledge their journey at UPs, and it's our desire that they will excel with great leadership and courage in all academic, professional, and personal aspects of their lives. At this time, I would like to invite the academic staff of this department, Environment, Development, and Peace, to join in presenting the students. So please hold your applause until all names of our students are called. So I would like to invite Dr. Olivia Sylvester, Jan Breitlin, and Clara Ramin to step up so we can present the names of the students. So first, Logan Clark. We now have London Weir. Next is Christopher Diran Onro. Elizabeth Morgan Parker. Holly Ann Thompson. JD Tatiana Barrios. Kim Lawson Austin. And Sarah Jane Campbell. So now I would like to ask all of you to step up for a group photo, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you. Congratulations to this group. Well deserved. We will now listen to the UP's anthem, which will be played in a few minutes. With this, thank you. With this, we would like to end the ceremony today. However, before dismissing you, you're all invited to have some hot drinks and bites placed right outside of this. Thank you for joining in this important day for our UP's family. It has been an honor having you here with us throughout this year. We now bid you farewell, bid farewell to our platform party and special guests, and to our students, our most sincere gratitude, best wishes of success in your professional careers, and we look forward to continuing assisting you as required. Please let's close this act by turning your tassels from right to left as an indication of your transition into master's students, graduates. And on the count of 3, we will toss our caps in the air. Just be careful, because the ceiling is very low. So on the count of 3, we will take this, we will capture this image. Yeah. Okay, so tell me when you're ready. On 1, 2, 3. Congratulations.